Hi, everyone, and welcome, dear listeners, to Loading Architects Learning. We are holding a podcast where we delve into the world of architecture and design, navigating career paths in the era of AI. This is Elena, a bachelor student from mainland China, studying in Hong Kong now on my Christmas holiday. And that is Adeline.
My name's Adeline. So, hi everyone. If you're back from listening to another episode, thank you again for joining us. And like every time, we're going to jump into some very honest conversations and down to earth discussions. So, Alina, what are we going to talk about today?
Today, our topic is generalists versus specialists. That is some very common question that we discuss at work, and what kind of architects you want to be, the generalist architect or specialist architect. So what kind of architects are you, and what kind of person are you?
Yeah, so I definitely am a generalist. I think I am a generalist, and this is in comparison to other specialist architecture roles that I know of. And first of all, if you're a licensed architect, I think a lot of people would think that, oh, then of course you're a specialist, you're a licensed architect, you're specialized in architectural design, whatever that means. But actually that can be broken down into smaller parts or more focused parts. Like you can become a facade specialist, facade architectural designer, facade specialist, or you can become a hospital design specialist. I think there are more and more healthcare specialists now after COVID-19. Or you can even be like an F&B designer specialist. And for those roles, you may or may not need to be licensed depending on projects or the client or the requirements, etc. I am very much a generalist. I am very much the kind of person that enjoys and probably do better in overseeing a holistic view of the project, whatever that project is. And that is also the reason why I became a design manager instead of stayed as a hands-on architect. I very much enjoy the process of understanding a little bit about everything, a little bit about all the different steps in the architectural design, and then also looking into the relationship between architectural design and quantity surveying, or architectural design and the budgeting team, architectural design and the contracts, and architectural design and the engineering, the structure, and the building services, that sort of stuff. So I'm a generalist, and I think there's a need for a generalist, and then there's also a need for a specialist. So what do you think? What would you like to be if you can choose? Would you prefer to become a generalist architect or a specialist architect?
I would like to choose for myself. I would say I would try to be a generalist architect while I have a deep understanding of some specialized areas, which means in the beginning of the career, I would like to learn more stuff broadly so as to have an entire picture of how the world of architecture, the industry is working. And but after that, I might want to be specialized in some kind of areas. So I would think for me, myself, because I'm still going through the university, through the academic training. And I feel like most of the academic trainings that we are having nowadays is trying to train us as generalists, because we're doing very different projects across the years. We did some residential houses in year 2. We did some kind of municipal service buildings, the very large complex, which includes a lot of different programs in year 3s. And then we definitely have some kind of other programs and other projects in the coming semester. So I think for university students, we are trying to be a generalist so as we have a broader opportunity, the range of opportunity opens up. And then after the university kind of training, the level of training, it's up to individual students where we choose to be a generalist or a specialist.
Actually, I think that's the right mindset. You don't know what specialist to become until you are a little bit of a generalist. You kind of see a little bit of everything and then maybe decide for yourself what you want to be. I think one of the specialist roles that I missed out just now is computational design specialists. I think there are more and more of them. They've been around for a while, but I think now, funnily enough, the demand for those might mean that they would be coming out from being a computational design specialist and into a generalist role. And what I mean is because I observe that the demand for computational design or algorithms or moving into other sort of stuff like implementing machine learning and large language models and automating and optimizing different processes of the architectural design and as well as an industry requires more people who can be computational savvy. So, which means their skill sets will no longer just be coming up with a parametric facade, but rather their skill sets are needed in slotting into every single different part of the process and design. So I see that trend and I see that move. And I think it's definitely very beneficial for those who had always been in the position of a computational technical specialist.
For me, I witnessed somehow the same trend as well, because for us, we can choose what kind of electives to take in the uni. And then I think like the majority, not the majority, more and more people from the uni that I'm exchanging in, there more and more people interested in computational design, parametric design, the design that is related to coding as well. So like I have a lot of friends who are interested in that, and we took the course at different unis because a lot of us are on exchange this semester, and we discussed what kind of parametric design, what kind of algorithms with it. And I found more than half of us choose to take some course in the coding, the computational design, something like that. Definitely become more of the trend. But in terms of the industry, how do you see it? What kind of trend did you witness? Like, more of the
Yeah, that's a great question.
of the computational designers.
Yeah. I think the reason why I would say that the computational design or the coding, that sort of stuff may not be defined as a specialist task, but rather a generalist task is because I think thanks to AI, a lot of those skill sets are becoming democratized. Now, for example, generative AI is not the same as computational design. It's not the same, but the mindset of having the machine take more efforts, like having the machine take more part in the design in that aspect is similar. And I now come across many companies who are already picking up generative AI. Doesn't matter if it's large language model or, image generation models. They're picking it up because it's low barrier of entry. And it also doesn't require the specialist knowledge of computational design because it's no code and it's something that already helps. It's something that they can see already helps save time. So more and more companies now are taking on using Midjourney and Stable Diffusion as a norm even. Like, it's not like one person specialized in it is doing the work of that. It's everyone picking a little bit up. So that's a trend, yeah.
Would you say the mindset of designing computationally and designing in the more traditional way is different? Because I witnessed some of our tasks that to be done in the coding, use Grasshopper or Python to design a building is very different from how we design from nothings and from parties. And the way of thinking is different, and the way of the workflow is different. You have to debug sometimes, you have to often check as a computational engineer, not as an architect anymore. And it's like I've heard of a very funny story that one of my classmates was trying to do one of the assignment, and then she couldn't debug the bugs that she had. And then she went to her mom, who is an CS engineer, computational science engineer, and then who had no experience in Grasshopper or whatsoever. But then her mom fixed the problem in half an hour. So I would say like the mindset of designing computationally and traditionally is very different. It requires you to think from different perspectives. And that's training us to have a more I don't know if that's more of a rational way of thinking.
I agree. Systematic mindset, I think. Rule based. I think you're right. It's definitely a different mindset to how we were trained or how you were being trained. I think if we talk about, it's about creativity, right? People are talking about, like the kind of studio culture that I'm familiar with definitely encourages creativity. Maybe start with something free form or start with like a different media as in, hand sketch something or, extrude some masking in your Rhino and then, figure it out. Whereas in computational design, you start with a vertex or you start with a point and you go from there. Right, you set rules for yourself, and everything is related. Everything is parametric, and I believe with machine learning, it will just be more of that direction. Now, what I think about that is I'm not surprised because if you want to do very free forms, if you want to do Zaha, that's really 0.1% of all the buildings in the world. It's only 0.01% of the demand. The demand for most buildings in this world is something practical. It can be repetitive, but residential buildings are repetitive. We got to, like the other episode that we've done, we've got to respond to the demand, which is practical buildings. And maybe to design those buildings, parametric algorithm can do the work. If that's the case, then no surprise that we're now shifting towards that kind of education, that kind of mindset. I think a lot of people would be disappointed, or a lot of people would feel like it's getting more and more competitive to build something that is truly like a landmark, that is built for the sake of it being different to others. It is true. I think with this economy and with the whole outside of things, it will be just more and more competitive to be that 0.01% architect. And even so, I think that market is very red moment with a lot of already well-known branded architecture firms taking up those landmarks. I would say it's better as personal opinion, it's better if we focus on the other 99% that really need our help in building it. And maybe we can use algorithms and that kind of mindset to do so too.
I think, yeah, I agree. And when we discussed in the previous episode of Money and Rewards, where we say like, it is actually a masterpiece. It can be very simple. The key essential for it to stand out is when it meets the economy, when it meets the demand, but then, it exogenately, fit the demand, but at the same time, it has some kind of key designs, that utilizes something that is within the budget and within the timeline to create something extraordinary.
Yes, I think so. I think
It's not about like using a lot of money to do something.
exactly. It's about executing a task, and it pops a lot of people's dreams, people's bubbles when they realize that. I think when I was younger and when I was in studio, I was not the kind of person that gravitated towards computational design. I was very much the person that went to school to become the 0.01%. I think that was my idea. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to make an impact by giving good design. And in my mind, I thought good design is something that is extravagant. It is something that, catches people's attention, that can evoke emotion, that can evoke emotion when people walk into the space. And then as I navigated towards the industry and understand a bit more about everything, I suppose, like a little bit more about everything, hence I'm a generalist, right? I realized that actually if I truly believe that I want to bring in impact, if I truly believe that if I truly want to bring in impact, it is not just the emotional aspect. In fact, the emotional aspect is brought in from every day. How often do you go to a museum, right? But you go back to your home every day. It is about the good design in the passive way, if that makes sense. Not like, wow, look at this, it's amazing, it's a landmark, but rather the good design in the subtlety, the subtle good design in in a building that works. It could be actually the good design in the building services, how they're not protruding, how it's working well. It could be the good design in the it could be a good design in the fire resistance. So maybe we should appreciate that these walls are 2-hour fire resistance. It's all these practical things that you do not appreciate when you're in architecture school and trying to come up with a beautiful rendering.
Yeah.
But it is everything in real life.
Costs less energy, it's quicker to do that with prefabricated, it's easier for the constructors, for those kind of tiny sort of things. But it adds up to a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. You're right.
In terms of that, I think the world still has the demand for specialists where they have, for example, the facade specialists where they utilize different methods to kind of maximize the energy consumption, trying to be more environmentally friendly, which is a broad topic that we discussed in architecture. So I feel like for those who are specialized in specific fields, they do have their values in cutting a cost, in trying to gain more benefits and trying to create more values based on what kind of specialized knowledge that they have.
Yes, I agree. And I think the specialists definitely bring in a lot of value. And speak of them again, I think actually the environmental specialists, they're also very important. And I think more and more architects are also looking into that area because as they want to expand their scope in their projects, they will look into how they can get involved with ESG. And that always comes with an investment mindset as well. Yeah, without deviating too much from the main topic, I think it is also interesting how a lot of specialist works can become automated. Although I need to be quite careful when I say that. With AI agents being the protagonist of 2025, it will be. And this is basically AI agents being one step up from chatbots. If chatbots hallucinate, or if chatbots are more like university students, the AI agents are PhD graduates, or they have gained a doctorate degree. It means that they would be trained at expert level. They'll be trained at expert level. And when they're trained at expert level as a human, I wonder if I should try to compete with the AI experts in being a specialist, or should I be a generalist?
I think another thing that we are discussing in the AI era is whether we will have a general AI, whether we will achieve the general AI, the strong AI, or whether we will stay at the current thing but improving in specialist tools, which means the chat GPT is specialized in the words detection, the creation of a fluent sentence. And then for architecture, we have some kind of Midjourney, which specializes in image. And then in the architectural industry, we have also some kind of plan generation, prefabrication generation. And I think that will be more and more popular. And then a lot of more companies will be developing those kind of tools. So I wouldn't say the specialist will be taken away from AI, because I feel like the human brain still has its advantage in terms of we think differently than machine. Because machine itself, it has a limited set of data set. We as humans, we can learn more stuff than, well, actually, it's not like machine is more, it has advantage in calculations, which human brain cannot do. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, I think we still have the creativity which machines cannot be reached in recent years. So I don't know, I'm like 100% agree on your opinion of like we do not need specialists, because I feel like the PhD students still has its values somehow.
So first of all, I need to clarify, I never said that we don't need specialists, but rather I think the specialists will get a leg up from the AI agents that will be there, or maybe the specialists will then be raising their own AI agents to help them with their job. And the AI agents, well, this is very broad, but for example, an ESG specialist can work on their AI agents, and the AI agent can basically help produce the ESG reports. So then I would say, yeah, sure, maybe we need one ESG specialist to do that. But then a generalist can just also work with the AI agents to come up with an ESG report. So therefore, my question is, what is the role of the ESG specialists themselves, the human, when that happens? So I'm not saying there's nothing they need to do now, but rather I think their role is more of developing the AI agent and transferring their knowledge base into the AI agents and educating the next sets of specialists, I suppose, so then they can keep training the AI agents. And maybe this is rather controversial, what I'm suggesting or what I'm saying, but it is a personal opinion. Like I can envision it going into that direction where AI agents will help a lot in anything that has to do with an Excel sheet, anything that has to do with reporting, anything that doesn't require brain in work will be greatly helped with AI by AI agents. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Because then you're saying the specialists will be trying to develop the AI agent for for generalists to utilize them. And that is, I think, in my mind, a more productive way of helping generalists or just lower the barrier getting into a specialist field.
Yes, you're right. It does lower the barrier to become a specialist, I would say. And I think for generalists are the kind of people that oversees the entire project, or they are the people who kind of help link things together. I always imagine it that way. Once there are AI agents, I think the communication would be also a lot easier for the between generalists and specialists. And I think everyone would just work a little bit more seamlessly. I mean, in our field, in architecture, I think maybe the way I'm thinking right now is more relevant to AEC, architecture, engineering, construction overall, because I work with a lot of QS. I work with a lot of non-architect professionals, both during the day and night. So what that means is I see a lot of automation or potential for optimization that actually do not happen in the design. It's not part of the design, but it is everything about the design. What that means is, for example, and I hope I'm not sidetracking too much, but for example, if you have a residential building, you want to automate the optimization, like making the room layouts work better, making the corridor space more efficient, enhancing or reducing the carbon emission. So who is going to tell the architects how much to reduce or how much to automate, how much to optimize? Because I think it will be the quantity surveyor coming up a number with the developer, the clients, whether it's public or private sector. It would be them coming up with a brief or a requirement for the architect to start with, or for the architect to amend. Therefore, I see that when we talk about generalists versus specialists, I think of how the AI agent will help both the client and the architect in doing so. And I can see a lot of specialists in the QS, in the engineering, in the real estate developer. A lot of that can be helped with AI agents. And a lot of the communication, a lot of the production of the brief can be helped by AI agents. So I don't know if I am sidetracking too much, but I thought of that.
We learned about like how the kind of the trends will be going in the industry. Giving out have the tool of AI agents in the future, it will be easier for us to communicate, and it will be easier for us to grasp some kind of the ideas the other professions are thinking about.
Yeah.
It's definitely like easier for in terms of communication and in terms of the cost of trying to understand, and also the machine, the computational power it has in terms of the calculation will help, I believe, the QS, like the surveyors and some of the engineers a lot as well. So in the future, if we keep developing those kind of AI agents, the specialists will be paying more attention into building those kind of AI agents than the marginal cost, the cost of us developing a new project. will be less generalist.
Yes, I think I agree with that point. Yeah, so I really look forward to see how things pan out in the future. Maybe I would be completely wrong about my assumptions. So what are we going to talk about next time, Elena?
I think the next time the topic will be design studio versus startup.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that already.
Yeah. How is that different between you have a startup versus you're opening up the design studio for architects?
I think we have chosen a great topic for this. I think this is for today, and I hope whoever's listening, you've enjoyed our candid conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe as always. And Lena, do you have anything you'd like to say to wrap up?
Just thank you for everyone coming, and if you like, subscribe. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
See you guys in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
Bye.